welcome to our Crazy Life Scotland. My name's Fiona, and in today's craft and chat video I am going to be doing some diamond painting. I have got this gorgeous cute little dragon diamond painting that I got from Temu that I have started working on, and I'm just going to continue working on this while chatting to you about our March curse, the curse of March. If you watch my vlogs, you will know that I have had a very bad week recently, leading up to basically the last week of March. It was terrible. My mum was admitted to hospital, and my daughter was away sailing, which I was worrying about, and then my eldest daughter, who passed her driving test a week or so ago, had a car accident, and I got that dreaded phone call. Thankfully, she is okay. The car is a write-off, we believe. We've not heard back from the insurance yet, but yeah, that is a phone call I never want to get again. And as I was saying in my vlogs, it feels like the curse of March is back. And I said that I would explain to you what I meant in a craft and chat video. So here we are. Now, I've not got exact years and things, and I don't think it's happened every single year, but it does seem that every time something bad happens, it's in March. It goes back to the first time that, you know, I can actually remember, because usually these things take something traumatic to, you know, implant themselves in your memory. And it was March 2012, which is when I first became ill. We still don't know what the illness is. I had severe abdominal pain. I was extremely tired. I was worth nothing. I was admitted to hospital on the 12th of March, and I was in hospital that time for about 3 months on and off. Yeah, while they did all sorts of tests, couldn't figure out what it was, and they did diagnose me with chronic fatigue then, but as you may know, chronic fatigue is a symptom and not an illness on its own. So they still don't know what it is a symptom of. And yeah, that was obviously a very bad time in my life. At the time, my kids were young. Brooke was only 2, and Abby would have been coming on, now 2004 she was born, so she would have been 7. And it was a very bad time. My mum basically ended up moving into my house because my husband was working away from home at the time, so my mum became the kids' full-time carer, and it was a hot mess. So that was the first time that March was really bad. And then I was in my bed, sort of on and off, between my bed and hospital for 4 years. I can't remember if the final hospital trip that I had, like for the acute stage of it, was March as well. I honestly can't remember, but basically I ended up getting admitted to a different hospital in Glasgow, which was the best thing that ever happened, because my mum genuinely believes that I wouldn't still be here if I was still in Forth Valley Hospital, but that is a conversation for a different video. So yeah, that was the first time that it happened. And basically, pretty much anything bad that's happened since has been then. Now, we moved here 6 years ago in March, and the night before we moved, my husband's granddad passed away. We knew that it was coming. He had been ill for a while. He was being cared for at home by one of his daughters, and yeah, we had a feeling that it was coming. But the same night, my husband's auntie had got up in the night not feeling well and ended up having a brain aneurysm and passed away early the next morning, which was the day we were moving. So yeah, that was March. That was 2 deaths, one sort of expected, the other not at all. She was a youngish lady, she was in her 50s I believe, and yeah, completely out of the blue, just one of those things. So yeah, that was March. Then we had a Leonberger. He was an absolutely gorgeous big dog, big Ranach. He was our big bear. We loved him to bits. He was 5. We had been here maybe a year, I think. No, we'd been here a few years because it was 2021 that he suddenly passed away in March. It was the day before St. Patrick's Day. He had been perfectly fine the night before. He was sick through the night, which we thought, that's a bit strange. And he spent a lot of time, I always remember, just standing at the side of the bed, panting at me, just looking at me like he was saying, Mum, there's something wrong. And when we got up in the morning, he was sick again, and then he collapsed. And we rushed him to the vet, and we basically found out it was his heart. And the vet spent all day trying to figure out a treatment that would help him. They tried all sorts of things, but in the end, later that day, they had to say, look, we're just going to have to let him go because there was no treatments left to try. So we had to say goodbye to our big bear in March. Now, actually, that's something, because that was during the second lockdown. So what else happened in March? The year before that, COVID hit, and that's when the lockdown was. So that was another March thing. And I became very, very ill again as well with kidney stones. So yeah, that was March. And what else happened? Then, I can't remember if it was 2022 or last year in March, I was admitted to hospital again. Yeah, I'm such a healthy specimen, me. I was admitted to hospital with severe headaches. I'd had constant headaches basically since having COVID. And it was about a year that I'd had these headaches, but they were getting worse, and the doctor just didn't know what it was and decided to admit me for tests. And yeah, I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks then, I think, because my original illness left me in a wheelchair. Again, that's a story for a different video. I do actually have a video, I think, on my channel that I will link for you if you've not seen it. So because I ended up with nerve damage from malnutrition from my first bout of illness, I already had a neurologist who did attend the hospital that I was in. So I was in there for a wee while waiting to see her, and then she came round, she did a few tests, and thankfully there was nothing serious. So eventually I got home after 3 weeks, I believe it was. And yeah, so all of that happened in March. And then this March, like I say, my mum was admitted to hospital on the Tuesday. I got word on the Thursday she was getting home, and about 10 minutes later, my eldest daughter Abby phoned me hysterically screaming that she'd had a car crash. Thankfully, I think I mentioned she is okay, the car isn't. But yeah, having just passed her test the week before, she was completely shook up, as you can imagine. And we are still waiting to find out what's going to happen car-wise. I think it's going to be a long time before she's driving her own car again, because she's going to have to now save up for a new car. We helped her with her first car. We are not in a position to do that again. So she's going to have to save up for her own car and save up for insurance, which is going to probably be double what it already was. And it was already about £215 a month for her. So yes, I'm pretty sure other things have happened in March, but these are the main things that really do stand out to me. And yeah, other bad things do happen other times a year. We unfortunately lost my auntie in the run up to Christmas last year, so that wasn't March. But it just seems that generally when all these bad things happen, it's in March. Why is that? Does anybody know? Is there any sort of, I don't know if it's anything to do with, I'm not really into astronomy and astrology, whichever one it is. Could it be something to do with the way the moons are aligning, or the stars, or something like that? Let me know if you're into any of that and you have any sort of explanation. But basically next year, I want to hibernate for the whole month of March. Do you think that would help? Do you think me just not doing anything, just staying in the house, staying in my bed and doing absolutely nothing would stop bad things happening? I don't know, but it just feels like the month of March is cursed. Does anybody else, let me know in the comments below, do any of you have a similar sort of situation where it seems to be the same time of year all the time that these things are happening? Or is it just me? I don't know, but yes, I did say that I would explain to you in a crafting chat what I was talking about. Wait till I change colours here. I am looking for, let's go for you, number 3. Yeah, so that is the story about the curse of March. I'm sure I'll probably remember other things that happened, but if anybody knows a way to break the curse, then please do let me know. You're probably laughing at me, you're probably saying, you know, it's just coincidence and all the rest of it, and yeah, it probably is. And again, it goes back to correlation versus causation. The correlation is all of these things have happened in March. It doesn't mean that the month of March is the cause. So I get all that. It just seems absolutely crazy that these things happen. Anyway, my mum, Granny Annie, is on the mend. She's still very weak, but she is now eating. It was diverticulitis that she was admitted with. Although we didn't know at the time what it was, that was the first time she'd been diagnosed. So she is currently sort of trying out different foods and things to see what is going to agree with her. But at least she's home now, and she's right next door to me. My mum and dad stay in a cabin in our garden, which sounds terrible. It sounds like a Harry Potter cupboard under the stairs situation, but it's not. It's a proper cabin which they built. It's a log cabin. It's got 2 bedrooms, a little living room, a little kitchen area, a log fire, and you know, they've got all the mod cons that they need, so they are very, very happy there. When we moved out here to the country, they were like, what are we going to do? Because, you know, I'm an only child, and like I say, my mum brought up our 2 girls for a good sort of 4 years, so it was like cutting off her arm, the thought of not seeing them every day. And they had came up with the idea of, you know, getting a cabin so they could stay here on weekends. They were still living in the Falkirk area at the time, and yeah, so they got the cabin and they built it. My dad and Jack actually built it from scratch. It was a kit, but they built it themselves not long after we moved in here. And until that was built, my mum had this room, actually, my craft room, had a bed in it for her so she could come and stay whenever she wanted. But my mum did have work at home in the form of line dancing classes. My mum's a line dancing teacher, so it suited her to be spending, you know, some time there, some time here. And then when the pandemic hit, again, March, my mum and dad, because you weren't allowed to travel, they came and stayed in the cabin and basically just stayed. They didn't obviously travel back and forward. My mum's classes weren't on anyway. And from there it was relatively slow but fast progression to, you know what, we love it here and we really don't want to live in Falkirk anymore. And so gradually they were spending more and more time here, less time at home. And then they made the decision to move over here permanently. They gave up their house, their flat in Falkirk, and moved here. My mum still has got line dancing classes in Falkirk on a Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, but she's also started line dancing classes here as well. She just never stops, that woman. She's nearly 73 and she's just constantly on the go. But yeah, although she does live here, she goes back to the Falkirk area every Wednesday, stays with my cousin while she does her classes, and then she comes back here on a Friday. And she loves it, but my dad is here permanently. And yeah, it's excellent because the kids have still got their grandparents right on hand, which of course they want because they get spoiled. And it means that I've got my mum and dad here for help because I'm disabled, I'm in a wheelchair, I don't drive now. I did have a Motability card that I had to give up because we couldn't afford to run 2 cars, and my husband needs a car for his work. So it meant my mum and dad are here on hand if I need anything, if I'm having like an illness flare up and need them to help, they're always on hand, which is amazing. It really is. It's so good. So yeah, that is my story about the curse of March and my mum and dad moving here in the cabin. And we live right on the loch, as you will probably know if you watch my daily vlogs. We are in the countryside and right on the water, which is amazing in the summertime. In the winter time, not so much, it just rains constantly, and in spring, like it is just now, apparently. Someone told me it's spring, it doesn't feel like it. Yeah, it just constantly rains, but I wouldn't go back to living in a town or city again because it's just so quiet, it's just so, I don't know, the nature all around. It maybe sounds a bit cheesy, a bit corny, but you know, we've got regular squirrels in our garden that we feed. We see all the birds and all the wildlife, and we get deer in our garden, we get sheep in our garden. And yeah, we just absolutely love it. So yeah, I am now starting to haver, so I think I will probably head off now. I don't want to keep you too long in this video, and I've already havered on about more than I was supposed to. But if you've enjoyed this, if you've enjoyed just listening to me havering away and diamond painting at the same time, let me know, and I'm happy to do more videos like this. And if so, let me know if there's anything specific that you want me to talk about, because if you know me, I just love havering. I will haver away all day. I don't care that it feels like I'm talking to myself, because I know that I'm talking to you lot, and you are all my friends now. It's great hearing from you all in the comments below. So talking about that, please do talk to me in the comments below. Let me know, are you in a similar position? Do you have any idea why it feels like it's always happening in March, and how we can stop it without, you know, stopping life for the month of March every year? And yeah, just talk to me in general, please. If you have enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. If you've not already, I would love it if you would subscribe, and I will see you in our next one. Thanks everyone.